Here just to let you know what I feel about homelessness. It's not a lifestyle choice. Sure, there is tiny home or caravan life with some of them who consider themselves homeless, but indeed they have a home. When you're truly homeless and living indeed on the streets with no shelter or maybe fortunate enough to have a portable tent, this is a whole different story. I have never considered myself homeless, yet there were times when I never had heat or water for almost a year a number of years back. I was able to keep out of the elements in an old house and was able to borrow a vehicle, some to get back and forth to a job. I never really had addictions that caused me setbacks. It's been relationships that I wanted to think would get better, yet they never did. Until I realized this, it was tougher in life. Many people do not understand or want to truly know how it is people end up in this situation. I am going to share what I have learned from helping many homeless people and listening to them. Some of the homeless are veterans and have served our country, and whether they have retired or been given discharge for one reason or another, when they have seen and dealt with so much, it's too much for them to bear. Therefore, to have what many would call an ordinary relationship or live in a permanent shelter freaks them out. Firstly, because they are aware of how quickly it can vanish in a matter of minutes. Secondly, because a lot of them are through such trauma, they just don't know which way to turn. Some have chosen drugs and alcohol and become addicted, and therefore these habits have all taken their income and are unable to sustain a permanent house. Just think about your addiction, whether it's smoking, drinking a beverage like a coffee, tea, or alcohol, playing a sport like golf, volleyball, or darts, eating junk food, or using the internet. Whether you spend money on your addiction at home or out, it's not something that you would want to live without. Some people have succumbed to being homeless due to the harmful way that they have been treated by others, whether they were abducted and forced into using drugs and alcohol, or whether they were abused and use it as a coping mechanism to numb the pain. Some have lost their jobs and have no way to pay these bills that come with a permanent residence. You can't get a job if you have no address, because you need an address for your application and you need a telephone number as well. You even need an address to get a proper government identification card. Also, should you get a job because someone sees that you have potential and you are willing to work, how are you going to be hygienic and be clean enough to show up for the job? Others have recently become single, whether their spouse passed away or their relationship wasn't working out, and do not have family or friends to help house them. A few I have seen that panhandle during the day or the night and then go down a few streets and around the corner to drive away in their luxury vehicle. I haven't been able to speak with one of these people, so I don't know whether this is a borrowed vehicle that they have the use of. I have followed one in hoping to speak with them, and they went to a well-to-do neighborhood and parked inside a garage. Again, I don't know if they were just staying here to get on their feet or if they did indeed pay for the place and the vehicle by panhandling. They did not come to the door when I knocked. This is not something I have seen much, but it is out there as well. Society needs to realize that these homeless situations are real issues, and these are real things that need to be addressed in our countries. Do you really think that homeless people said one day, I am going to be filthy and malnourished from now on? Give your head a shake. Why would anyone do or think something like this? With the COVID pandemic, it has made things worse in all these areas for sure. Many have been forced into this crisis that the wealthy are not addressing at all. Sure, you have the wealthy ones that say they are going to give away their billions or most of it before they die. However, if you actually do the research to see where it is going and the criteria they follow to distribute it, you would learn that it goes to the big companies for continuing their research on cures or nonprofits that are always linked back to them. It doesn't go to smaller companies who are struggling or lower income people that could benefit and be successful again. Don't get me wrong, trying to find the cures is great, but when many cures get close, they are discarded because it won't make as much money as keeping people sick. I would give names and examples, but I'm not here to do that. If you would like to see for yourself, there are many search engines that you can use to do so. Please don't get me wrong, I can appreciate that wealthy people enjoy their money and maybe this is their addiction, which is why they will not part with it. But I really think that in this world we need to help out each other. I have never been rich and I don't ever care to be. I have what I need to survive, and any time I have money in my pocket or get a bonus at work, I always give it away. I cannot take it with me and when I die, and this way I always know where I spent my money and that I did what I wanted with it. Do you know what a new coat or a new pair of footwear, a carry sack, a meal card does to a homeless person? Let me tell you. The smile and joy that it brings when you do that gift for someone, it's amazing. It truly is. And when you see that, it definitely warms your heart. I have given so many things to many homeless people, whether it be sleeping bags, hats, boots, winter coats, gift cards, socks, mittens, and many more items. Some have been lightly used blankets that I no longer needed or wanted, and sometimes it's a lightly used piece of clothing, which is non-stained and non-ripped. But I generally get new for them because they just don't have anything good or that's going to last. I know one time about 5 years ago, I was with my boss and we had just finished a business lunch. As we headed back to my vehicle, I saw a homeless man that I knew. I told my boss, I'll be right back. I went to the homeless man and I gave him a $100 bill because I hadn't seen him in a while and I've always appreciated the fact that he was always friendly on my travels past. He was very thankful and happy and I went back to my vehicle. My boss said, "Is everything okay?" I replied with, "Oh yes, I just haven't seen Gordy in a long time." And I wanted to give him the $100 bill I had set aside for him. He said, "You just gave a $100 bill to the homeless guy?" I said, "Sure." I said, and he was very happy and thankful about it. My boss just sat there and shook his head and didn't know what to say. Not 2 weeks later, I was working close to where I had often seen and talked to Gordy. I found out that he had passed away 3 days before due to health challenges. I was so thankful that I was able to make one of his last few days a little more happy, saddened though that I will no longer be able to enjoy his friendliness. I don't live in a city. It is a couple of hours away, which I regularly visit for the purpose of helping others. I live in a very small country village, less than 500 people, in a relatively small house. Therefore, it doesn't allow me to take people in, or I would certainly do so, to at least give them a shower and have a safe night's rest. To me, those things are important. I know that there are some who would want to get off of the streets, but addiction does not allow. Others just don't have the money to do so. What I am suggesting is that if you can please give, please do so, whether it is a few minutes to see how their day is going, or sitting with them having a beverage or a meal, or whether it is $1 for them. I haven't been able to help someone with any addiction treatment yet, but that is one of my goals. Some of you may be critical and say, well, they have to want it, and it may not work. And what I say to you is that's okay. Because at least I would have given someone the opportunity that they would not have had the chance otherwise to get. Another goal of mine is actually to help people who want to trade and are unable to do so because financially they cannot afford it. Do you know how many people have student loans from university and are unable to pay them back, or that they're unable to get a loan to do university? I am attempting to make a difference one person at a time, like it used to be, when society cared and helped one another out. The big companies, in my opinion, are getting bigger and bigger. Bonuses for the higher-ups. And sure, they may work hard, but in all reality, what good is all that income for one person? A CEO that gets a bonus of millions of dollars per year is going to invest that money to make more money. So instead of investing some into a homeless person to fight addiction or have a place to live that they could actually give them a sense of being and growing, they would rather see a stack of money grow. Unfortunately, this is all too common with the way that society is, and especially the wealthier ones. When I was growing up, neighbors helped each other when needed and didn't expect anything in return. Now we are in a society where many of us don't even know who our neighbors are. When I go to sleep at night, I don't think of the next day and the challenges that may be, as it is useless to do so. No one knows exactly what can happen the next day. And if you make it to there or not, one could have it all planned out, and in an event beyond their control, could put a monkey wrench into it and nothing that was planned would happen. I live each day thankful for what I have and happy that I could share a smile or help one person that day. We need to be grateful and appreciative, not greedy and uncaring. It is important to realize that the more and more we lose touch with the reality of the fact that everyone is human and everyone has feelings, the more and more it is a materialistic world. When all the material things are taken away, we are still human and we still have feelings. Please take the time to smile and share what you can. To the critics or the carers, just so you know, I live in a house that was built back in the 1940s. It's not paid for yet, and it's nothing spectacular, but it's where I am. I'm okay with it. And it takes a lot to heat, but that's okay too, because I've got the money to do so. That's what I work for. It's slowly being renovated as I'm possible to do anything with it. I have a vehicle that is 14 years old, and it has over 167,000 miles on it, which equates to about 270,000 kilometers. It's a domestic basic vehicle, and I live on a small income, which is less than $30,000 in a year. And I have, of course, food and electric bills, as many others. I am stating this to say that, in my opinion, helping others is beneficial, and no one needs to be rich or give everything that they have away. I am not looking for donations, and I'm not looking for a pat on the back. However, if you would like to go ahead and give, I have no problem passing along the whatever's given to the homeless people. If it's a larger amount for a possible treatment program or an educational program, please include the details with it or contact me. I have read that many philanthropists that are not billionaires want to remain anonymous as they do not wish for the spotlight, but still want to help others. I am not a public speaker, and as you can clearly tell, and I don't want to be put in the spotlight. I merely enjoy helping others and knowing that they can be a little better off than when it happened upon them. I appreciate all of you and thank you for being you. Please be kind to everyone and remember that each person has their own thoughts, feelings, and attitude. If you do not agree with them, that is your opinion. I live a happy life, and I guess you could say that my addiction is helping others. So if it means that when I go out to get an ice cream and buy one for someone else who cannot afford one, that gives me fulfillment. Please enjoy your day and remember the smile that you give away today is free, and it may just be the highlight of someone's day.